Hi folks, how we're doing today is the 14th of July 2023 and today I'm going to be channeling someone very different. Well, actually he's not, because he kind of reminds me of Bram Stoker, but anyway, different for me, somebody that I've never been drawn to, okay, and I'll go into that in a bit of detail. So basically I'm going to be channeling Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And how I got to this was last weekend, so the weekend before this video is being filmed. And I was discussing doing a video on Agatha Christie, and one of the things my husband said to me was, because I'm thinking about doing a playlist, a psychic detective playlist, and he says one of the things you could do is channel a famous detective as like an introduction. And he said, oh, let's think of one. And he saw the Sherlock Holmes, but Sherlock Holmes isn't really a person, is he? He's a fictional character. And he's like, well, have you thought about channeling Arthur Conan Doyle? And I was like, you're going to gasp. I went, who's that? And he was like, the person that wrote Sherlock. And I was like, oh, I've never read Sherlock. I've briefly seen snippets of it on telly, but I've never ever been fully drawn to it. In fact, some cases actually, I can feel a little bit when I am watching it. It's weird. And I was like, okay. And I know nothing of this man. Not a jot. And I was like, this man is not even on my radar. I did a little bit of research, like I just went on to find out what his name was, his date of birth, to do his numerology. I watched a drama series about him and his days as being working as what's it called? Postmortems. Mortuary assistant and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, in the Victorian times, well, late Victorian times. I just watched it till a point where I think it's halfway through, it stops. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And I was like, God, I just want to research him. Because I'd never known of it, because it seemed really interesting. But the stuff that I have got on him is actually quite interesting. So, he's born on the 22nd of May, 1859 in Edinburgh. He dies on the 17th of July, 1930 in Crowborough. Numerology, 32. 32 is creativity and spiritual growth. And 3 and 2 is 5, which is prosperity, justice, knowledge, mathematical understanding. Okay? And he used to work with, sorry, I've got itchy on my mind, Dr. Joseph Bell. There's also rumours online that he was aware of who Jack the Ripper was. And when I found that, I was like, oh, because we had a similar situation when we channeled Selfridge, Mr. Selfridge, and that's what led to me then doing the Jack the Ripper stuff. And there's all kinds of different things out there. And to be quite honest, I stopped looking at stuff because I just thought, I actually just want to sit down with this man, away from all the online noise, because some of it can be misleading, some of it can be fake news, and I actually felt like I really wanted to sit with this man. So the 3 things I found out was, there's rumours that he may have known who Jack the Ripper was. I actually think that a lot of the people of that time, the elite of that time, actually knew who he was. And if you've watched my other videos, my series, I actually firmly believe it was a number of people. I don't think it was just one person. I think it was a group of people. Anyway, watch that video. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So, as I'm doing a little bit of detective work, I then find out that he went to a medium when Agatha Christie went missing. And I was like, Agatha Christie? And the reason why I'm doing this is because I was going to do a video on Agatha Christie, which I'm going to be doing next week. And all of a sudden, these pieces of this jigsaw started to fall into place. Jack the Ripper, I've done that. Agatha Christie, going to be doing that. He was also a Freemason. Excuse me. He was also a Freemason, which again, no judgment, because most men of that ilk back then would have been Freemasons. And many of us in past lives would have been those as well. He was all for king, queen and country. So he was a man of tradition, but then there's this other side of him, this esoteric side of him, that liked to go see mediums and psychic side and clairvoyant side, and then you look at the character of Sherlock and it was like, whoa. Whenever I tune into his energy, he's surrounded by these white mountains. And it's kind of doing my head in a bit, because I want to kind of see him in an office, surrounded by books, an old Victorian office, but I'm just seeing him surrounded by these mountains. I'm not sure what these mountains are. I'm just not, just these white mountains. Are they mountains that have had snow on? I'm not sure. They're just white mountains. Let's see where we go with it. Before I did this video, one of the things I was actually umming and ahhing about doing this video, because there seems so much out there at the minute that I want to talk about healing, about the ascension path, about the awakening path. And I thought I really don't want this to take from that. And I was really like, I was getting pulled a bit. I was like, do I really want to do a channeling? Do I want to talk about something else? But one of the things he actually said to me was that we all have Moriarty within us. And many people at this present moment are fighting with their own internal Moriarty. Now, I know briefly about Moriarty. So Moriarty is an educated gentleman, elite, you know, he's like the nemesis of Sherlock. But what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was showing me was that this nemesis isn't external from us. The nemesis is within us. Biblical. The nemesis is within us. I'll leave that with you. So I'm setting up an altar here with some cards, and I'm like, I still think, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to do this? And my heart's in it, but my heart's kind of not in it. So I asked him to give me a card for this reading, and he sent me this card, which is the card of the moon. And we know the moon represents the underbelly, the shadow, our shadow. And I thought, this is it. This is why I'm meant to be doing this video. Many people right now feel as though they're fighting a Moriarty out there. Be it the system, be it a friend, a family member, an institution, a workplace, children's school, loved ones, hated ones. They're Moriarty, you can't get rid of them. They're like flies that you can't get away from. They just, they irritate us. And it's like, you're trying to stay in your lane, you're trying to do your stuff, and wham, in this Moriarty energy comes in. But actually, what if I said to you that the Moriarty is within us and not external to us? That the demon, you see, I have not read Sherlock, and I think I need to read Sherlock after these videos. But my feeling is that in these books, this is what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was trying to say. That actually maybe Moriarty was on some level a part of Sherlock. Were they brothers? You see, I don't know. But it feels as though they were, it's the ego, isn't it? It's the trying to knock you down. You know, if you think about Sherlock, he was able to see what other people couldn't see. He saw beyond the knife in, you know, if you think about a crime scene, he saw beyond the knife, the fingerprints and all of that, and all the physical evidence. He saw what others couldn't see or unwilling to see. And it sent him mad, it sent him crazy, made him look like a pariah. People, you know, God, Sherlock, people couldn't understand him. He was a loner, he was isolated. Sorry, my eye's just having a little bit of a moment. Hormones, if you see it in videos, I'm not going to hide it. It just seems to be one eye that just has a hormonal outburst. Not tears, not crying. Anyway, dry eye hormones, moving on. So, yeah. And take this into our own lives where many of us are now. Maybe you're on your healing path, your awakening path, your ascension path, and you're battling with Moriarty. You think Moriarty is external to you, but Moriarty is within you. It's a bit like good dog, bad dog on your shoulder. There's different ways of looking at it, different ways of making it more simple. So, how do we then get peace from Moriarty? Shall we ask? So, tuning into his energy, how do we get peace from our own internal Moriarty? You listen. You listen to what the Moriarty energy inside you is saying. You don't run from it. You accept that every single one of us has a Moriarty within us that wants to sabotage us, It's not the demon that's external to us, the entity. It's not even the childhood trauma. It's deep within us. It's a pain and a wound we caused ourselves. It comes from not having a sense of self. And then we feed it unwillingly, and in some cases willingly. To tame Moriarty, you have to first admit that you can see it and sense it. What is the Moriarty energy doing to us as a species? Destroying us. I invented Moriarty because I had my own Moriarty. I needed to get him out of me. But he's also saying, but even when he got him out of him, he still became his nemesis. So he's got his own, Arthur Conan Doyle's got his own Moriarty energy. He writes these books. He puts Moriarty in the books to get rid of Moriarty. But actually puts Moriarty out into the world to also help people at some also higher level, so other people can see their own Moriarty. And he's showing me when he did his books, and there's this backlash of, we'd call it like reviews now on Amazon reviews and like Goodreads, where but I'm getting this backlash he had to deal with, this huge backlash. Right, now he's showing me when Moriarty kills Sherlock and people flipped. Because subconsciously, wow, I'm glad I'm doing this now, because subconsciously it was symbolised, the Moriarty within us killing us. Sherlock let Moriarty lead him without realising it. So this is a bit whoa. I understand. I'm trying to do it as simple as I can. It'll stop eventually though. That's the meaning for us. We need to stop trying to chase our Moriarty. We need to face our Moriarty head on. Did he smoke a cigar? Because I just want to do that. We need to face our Moriarty head on and stop chasing it. Stop hiding from it. Because this Moriarty energy is going to chase you. It's going to keep chasing you. He's showing me stamp down and face it. I think towards the end of his life, what I'm seeing, there's some mental health issues here. Not with Sherlock. I think they're all connected. There's the Sherlock, it's almost like they're all one. It's Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock, they're all one. They're not just all one as this person that I'm telling now, but they're all one for us. We've got the Sherlock within us. No shit Sherlock. I mean, I am a Sherlock. I love investigating stuff. I love diving deep. I mean, put your hand up if you've ever gone down a rabbit hole, boom. Put your hand up if you've ever seen something that nobody else can see, boom. Put your hand up if you've ever gone into, put your hand up, that was Yorkshire. Put your hand up, put your hand up. Put your hand up if you've ever gone into a room and sensed the energies, boom. Put your hand up if you've ever gone into a room and you've been able to say you've gone around around a big house, and you've gone into a bedroom and you've looked at the bed and you felt dizzy. And you maybe have spoken to one of the historians there, or you've done your research when you've left and you found out somebody got raped in there. You're Sherlock. We're Sherlock. We're all Sherlock. If you can do that, then you're Sherlock. But with Sherlock comes this Moriarty. It's also as well the doubting Thomas energy, making you feel you're not good enough, making you feel you're not psychic enough. And yes, all that stuff's external to you, but really it's internal. Because even if it is, this is not me, by the way, I'm processing what I'm getting from here as I'm channeling it, even if it's coming out my own words. Even if it comes in from you external, so say someone says to you, I don't know, you're a rubbish healer. Okay. So what happens is, you're a rubbish healer comes in. If you're so aligned and you know that you're not a rubbish healer, you know you may not be perfect, you know you're still learning your craft, and you always will be until the day you pass over, you'll still be learning your craft, then those words that came in, you're a rubbish healer, come in and you're like, I see you, I hear you, and I actually understand that you're also hurt and injured, and that the reason why you're reacting like that is because it's within you, and I accept that, so I'm sending you my love. But what happens is, the internal Moriarty goes, hello, and the internal Moriarty thinks, I'm going to take her down now. This internal Moriarty that we caused ourselves, so we need to heal the internal Moriarty. So this comes down to, I've just felt like a stroke in my head there, so it comes down to dealing with the internal Moriarty. Take some water. This bottle squeaks like that when I open it up. Anyway, could I have a card for Moriarty, please? Moriarty and how the Moriarty energy affects us. He's showing me him dreaming of Moriarty. Was Moriarty? Let me know in the comments, those of you that are huge fans of Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm seeing him dreaming him also. So there's a Moriarty in the astral as well. Moriarty. See, this is frustrating me now. This death scene with Sherlock, was it a mountain? The ace, this is the Ace of Wands. And Sharonoth at the bottom. Okay. Having to cover up the naked body, sorry. Yes, right. I think I'll get away with this actually quickly. Right, there's two people laid there, lovers, enjoying each other. But this is it. Is it a blessing or a curse? Your Moriarty, your internal Moriarty, it can actually be both, depending on how you alchemize him. The energy. Okay? By the way, Moriarty is not an entity. This is something within us that needs to be healed, that he sensed during his lifetime, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It's something that wants to come in and ruin the happiness. It's caused by us, it's made by us. If you heard coughing, that was Gary. So where next? Where next with this? Could I have a... So that deck I've just used there was the Druid Craft Tarot deck. This one I'm using is the Gateway of Light activation. So show me the Gateway of Light, the activation that we can use to heal this internal Moriarty energy. Show me the activation that we need. Alpha light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. Power recall. The divine matrix at the bottom. Interconnectedness, synchronicity, God incidences. Okay? So this is how we heal the internal Moriarty wound. It's a sense of self. It's stopping this stupid thing that we're saying at the minute of I'm breaking the matrix, I'm leaving the matrix. Boy, you're on this planet, you're in a matrix. There's matrices within matrices. Matrices. Get your words out. We need to quit this them and us energy. It's the system, and we're against the system. We're going to take you down. We need to quit this. I'm guilty of this as well. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not. This is just stuff I'm getting through doing this channeling. This whole them and us, we are all one. We are all one. Have you ever thought, what if we are all just one soul that are just splitting into separate bodies? So when we're attacking each other, we're actually attacking ourselves. You know, there's truth in that, because how many people think they were Cleopatra in a past life? Yes, there's separate fragments of us that are individual, but we are all one body of soul. So we need to stop this separateness, because when we go into this separateness, whatever it is, that's when we let in the Moriarty. It's ego. Moriarty comes in to slow you down. Not to block you, but to make you see your own shadow. Which is why when Moriarty, the energy, comes in, it spirals us. People get spiraled. You know, drugs, trying to forget things, alcohol, sugar. Interconnectedness. That's how we heal the inner Moriarty. Interconnectedness, how we heal the inner Moriarty. Let's have a card from this deck. This is called the Literary Witches Oracle. Look at that. I'm going to get this out for Agatha when I do Agatha next week. But let's see. I mean, it may not resonate with him, but let's just see if he can work with it. Sandra Cyranos, another author I've probably never even heard of. The Body. Anne Carson. Sorry. The Intellect. Why have I supposed to apologise to her? Why have I just said sorry? I don't know. Let me have a Google here. Is Anne Carson a character? I very rarely use this deck actually. I got it for the Bronte vibes at the front. Sorry, I'm going to have to Google this because I just said sorry for no reason. I'm sorry. Anne Carson. Anne Carson was a Canadian poet. Oh no, that's modern day that actually. Who is Anne Carson? The Intellect. Who is Anne Carson? It's called The Intellect. Glass, Irony and God. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read a little piece in this book because that was a bit weird. Anne Carson, The Intellect. Now this is going to be one of those decks that hasn't thingied them right. Or as right as I think they should be. Or my inner Moriarty thinks they should be. Here she is. Intellectual growth, delights of the mind, plagues of the mind. Born 1950. Well, he died in 1930, didn't he? So, a prolific writer of poems, essays and various literary hybrids, works with themes of lost family members, love and lost, religion and the intellectual tradition. The combination of this MacArthur Fellowship recipient's authority Startling insights and relentless questioning is as awe-inspiring, as explosive as the volcanoes she has been known to paint. Carson has also been a scholar of ancient Greek, Latin texts and champion of fellow witches, having translated Sappho and written about Emily Bronte and Virginia Woolf. So we've got another connection here. We've got a Bronte connection. Why did I say I was out of my own stuff? Why did I say I'm sorry when I got to that? I looked at the card and went, I'm sorry. Let's see. I wonder if there's some kind of a soul connection between them both, you know. Could even be reincarnation energy. It could be reincarnation. I've never heard of Anne Carson. I have no idea of her work, but I'm wondering if there's a reincarnation energy. And maybe on some level there's some heavy karma there, the fact that she's having to clear. Who knows? What were we even asking? The intellect. Again, going back to Sherlock. The mind, it's the mind. He said this to me earlier. He pointed, he said, our problem is the mind. Our problem is the mind. The soul's fine. The soul's fine. The soul knows why it's in this body doing its thing. But the mind, maybe it's the mind that's making up Moriarty. It's all in you. You see, people get, I'm not going to trigger you, but I probably am. You know when people say it's all in your head? What if it is? What if it is? And I want you to put aside the wounding for that bit. What if it is in our head? In as far as, yes, something may have happened and been said, but what if the reaction is, what if the head's making it worse? What if this Moriarty energy in the head's making it worse? Whispering. So it's about healing these wounds that the Moriarty energy feeds off. Okay. The body as well. Yes, I get it now. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. It's the mind and the body. This is a man that spent a lot of his time in spirituality. Not like the new age happy clappy stuff we see now, but mediums, talking to mediums and clairvoyance. He was probably a man that liked to escape the body. You don't devise Sherlock and Moriarty not like to escape the body. It's the mind and the body. It's the mind and the body. That's what he's... Oh God, we got there in the end. Jesus. The love of God. The mind and the body. It's the mind and the body. It's the mind and the body during this awakening, and you're not just this, the movement that's going on, but I'm talking about your own internal healing. So you finding your path and realising you need to heal. It's the mind that needs to be healed. It's the body that needs to be healed. It's the mind and the body that hold us back. You know, when you're wanting to just fly off, it's the body. But at the same time, we need the mind and we need the body because we're here on earth. So now we're moving into something else, and this is, how do we then work with the mind and the body in harmony? So now we've got the mind and the body turning into Moriarty. How many times have you looked in the mirror and gone, God, you're fat. God, you're ugly. God, you're ugly. Ugh. So now you're being Moriarty to your own body. How many times have you tried to figure... I've just done it now, trying to figure something out with my mind. My mind's blocked. Why are you abusing your mind? Why are you putting your mind... Why are you not letting your mind... Why did I not just flow with what was coming? If I'd have flowed with what was coming then... I'd have gone straight on to intellect, mind, body. That's what he's trying to say. But oh no, Moriarty leaped in. You're not a proper psychic because you don't know. And that's just bullshit. That when people say that to you, it's their own unhealed stuff. It's the fact that they're actually jealous and they're actually threatened by the fact that you're brave enough to put your stuff out there, that you're brave enough to say, I'm psychic, I'm clairvoyant, I'm a medium. So the mind and the body. Now where are we going next with this? Interesting. So where are we going next with this? Somebody wants to go next with it. Where do you want to go next with it? He's pointing to an ocean now. He's moved from the mountains and he's pointing to an ocean. There's more than you in the world. If you think about an ocean is vast. An ocean can swallow us up like that. There's more than you in the world. And again, Moriarty is devised because we feel as though we are we do. We're so absorbed in it, especially the healing path. It's quite cruel actually, because the healing path forces you to look at your stuff. So you go into your own stuff, your past lives and all of that, your generational stuff. And we can lose sight that you're just a pinprick in an ocean. So, and then another way that Moriarty comes in, there's more than you, there's more than us on the planet. There's more than your stuff. He's saying you look in a room full of 10 people, and each one of those 10 people feels they are right. Each one of those 10 people carries their own divine troubles, their own divine problems. And they get into this room and they can't bond. They put the fake smiles on. Hi, lovely to see you. Who's been to a do like this? Put your hand up in the comments. You know, but in the background, you're like, oh God, I'm tired. I can't do it. God, they're doing my head in. Oh my God, I want to go home. I feel tired. I feel dizzy. I'm having a panic attack. How many times? Oh God, they bother shit out of me. Because ultimately, we're putting on this fake face. We're letting the Moriarty energy come in and say they're different from you. They're more intelligent than you because they're a doctor. They know more than you. She's better than you because she's slimmer than you. Look at you. Look at the spots. Look at your hormones with your leaky eye. Do you know what? Does it matter? Because I'll get a comment about that. I'll get a comment. Somebody will try and give me medical advice or somebody, what you mean with your leaky eye? For what's going on with you? People do. You would not believe how rude people can be. But ultimately, it's actually because so many people are concentrating on the fake face. We live in a world of filter. So many people, I wouldn't dream of being filmed with a little eye that was sore because she's perimenopausal. Wow. That problem's their problem. It's not your problem. So when you're in that room full of people, that's their stuff. But then take this to the next level. We are all one. So that person that you're mocking or that person that we're judging is actually an aspect of us in another body. Huge. Let's some water. Let's talk about mediumship now. Mediumship. He's saying throughout his life he worked with and observed many mediums that were in torment. And we're in the word torment. He was in torment as well. Because when you're able to access all of this is about mediums, me and you, because you actually couldn't watch this. This is true. You couldn't watch this video if you didn't have a little bit of the medium within yourself. You couldn't. You couldn't. You'd be like, oh God, rubbish. Charlatan. Honestly, you would. in order to watch this, you know, to get to the end of something like, to watch any of these kind of videos, you've got to have a little bit of the medium within you. So, the torment being a medium comes from within. Again, it comes from within. I'm going to be interested in Googling this man, really diving deep into this man once I've done this channeling, because I really believe he's come under attack. Everyone does. You can say, oh well, Claire, anyone does, but this man has been judged and mocked and ridiculed, and I'm hearing the words even at some point taken to a point of insanity. There's insanity there as well. Picking up a bit of the Branwell Brontes here as well, you know. You know, I'm using a Bronte. Everything's interconnected. See, take it into Branwell. Oh, let's channel Branwell at some point. Take it into Branwell again. Branwell's right. I understand that many people won't know who Branwell Bronte is. Branwell Bronte was a brother of the Brontes, who had the gift of literature and art, but again, imposter syndrome and I'm not good enough and rejection. So he went down the laudanum and opium and drink route. Okay, Branwell Bronte. So you may want to Google him afterwards. It's this. This is, yes, because actually, take this away from spirituality. If you're an artist, a writer, if you're a baker, a cookler, if you're a school teacher, a bank manager, it only takes a slight little comment from someone or in your office area or whatever that can derail you. Going to an interview, that your job that you're wanting, or handing over a piece of work, an art project or a book, and being rejected, and it spirals you. So why does it spiral you? Because of the inner Moriarty. The inner Moriarty. Told you, you're shit. It's the inner Moriarty. So this is about being sovereign in everything you do. Not, I'm always right and I'm the best author and I'm the best this more. That's something totally different. That's the other end of the spectrum. But you know what also as well? That's also because on some level that person has an inferiority complex. They big it up too much to cover those flaws. It's like, you know what? It's like with my channel, I try to be as, you know, sometimes my eyes are a bit fizzy. I'm not bothered. Sometimes, you know, the eyes are a bit sore, where the hormones is, depending on where I am in the month. Doesn't matter. Sometimes I have a flip on, you know, not a flip, but, you know, I'll say the wrong word or I'll get a little bit confused. So what? Because ultimately, what's the point of me coming on with a big fat filter on? Cutting the video. I actually went onto a YouTube video yesterday and it was a booktuber. I'll watch her. I just, you know, and she cut out so much of it. You know when you're watching a YouTube video, it's like, and it cuts all, and it's like, you know when you're watching it and it jumps, and it just, she'd cut that much out that she jumped. The video was just jump. You know what I mean? Am I explaining that right? You're watching a YouTube video and it's still the same picture, but it jumps. I know what I mean, because it's been knit there's things being cut out and it's been knit together. And I just thought, God, that's annoying me, is that? For God's sake, what is she cutting out? She'd be cutting out the moment she sneezes or the moment her eye waters. And actually, we need to quit with that. We need to quit with that and be ourselves. Because actually what you're doing is you're adding to the problem. Because you're showing that you should be perfect on camera. Your hair should be all blow dried, and you know, you should be this and you should be that, and you should have a wonderful backdrop, and you know, you should have the best camera in the world, and you should have a team behind you that'll say, right Claire, you've done that video, let's go cut the shit out of it now. No, be yourself. Otherwise, we end up with that energy of Sherlock where he loses his mind. You know, the Moriarty energy comes in. So, mediums. He's showing me a range of children. These may already be here. They could be, are they coming or are they here? He's showing me the generations. Okay. And say he's showing me 5 generations. people are born and they have to really, they've got the gift and they can start to see things, but they have to work at it, to practice and practice and practice. But there's a generation of babies that are coming that literally, they're so switched on, they're so psychic, there's no practice needed. And these children, whether they're here now, irrelevant, or whether they're coming, or whether they've started to come, they're so psychic, it's untrue. Okay. But some of these children are falling into hands that are not equipped to deal with them. And they are getting labelled with things. And what is... Show me the school system now, the schools. I don't know if you had an issue with school, let me know in the comments. Was he a kind of child like that didn't fit in with the mainstream education system? So these children are born into some families that are not equipped for them, but we all know that people choose their families. Right. These children, they're nothing new that's coming. It's been happening for a long, long time. And it's probably going to resonate with you that's watching this video. You know when a child is born and they see imaginary friends, but these children are a bit more than that. They're born into families that try to suppress their gift, or in some cases label them with illnesses and stuff and all that kind of thing. Let's not go down that avenue, but it's happening. Or you're oversensitive, or you're hypersensitive, or why are you saying that? That's not what's happened. Or back in my day I went to school and all that kind of thing. If that's you, and maybe you know you've got the gift of the mediumship, then practice it. You're going to have to step forward, because it's almost like I was lucky because I fell into a family line where this stuff was the norm. It was encouraged, in fact. I remember my mum and grandmother passing me jewellery as a child to read jewellery. It was a norm. I'd sit in on, well, not seances, but, you know, circles and stuff like that, and between my mum and my nana, bouncing things off each other. My mum and her best friend with the crystal ball predicting Diana's death, I shit you not, back in 1995. So it was normal to me. So when I went into this, nobody was like, you what? It was normal. It was just a normal thing. So that was the blessing, really. That was a blessing. But I can imagine if I'd had parents that went, you're doing what? She needs sectioning. And I can imagine that. So if you're finding yourself in that, how long are you going to deny your skill and your gift before it sends you mad? And he's saying many people are pushing this down, and what's happening is it's spiralling off in different directions, the Moriarty wound's coming in. And it's actually about saying, okay, I'm not going to judge my parents for not allowing me to embrace this gift. That wasn't a judgment for them. They didn't understand it. But now it's my turn to rise. Many people are pushing their mediumship skills down because of judgment from the external world. He's showing me his books. He's just written his books, and there's a rejection energy going on. It feels like there's a rejection energy around him, and that has like an insanity feeling around him. Because people don't understand. People didn't understand Sherlock. People didn't understand Moriarty. People didn't understand his work. But you've got to keep going. Because look now, 1930, how many years is that? Is that nearly 100 years since he died? And we're sat here talking about him. So whatever your mission is on this planet, you have to keep doing, you have to keep pushing your mission. We can have that moment of you have moments like, I'm never going to do YouTube again, that's it, now I'm coming off YouTube. I do say that now and again. But actually, you know what? I say that and then I build myself back up again. And you come back, you've got to keep coming back from being knocked down. He's drawing me to this deck now, so... Someone copy his work. Two of Cups. The Two of Cups. Is he back onto the Moriarty and Sherlock energy? Yeah. See what he's... Look. See what he's trying to say to us? It's about being able to dance with both aspects of yourself. The Sherlock and the Moriarty. Sherlock and Moriarty both reside within us. We've got the inner Sherlock. We've got the inner Moriarty. So the inner Sherlock is the one that can see what... You walk into a room and you can see what others can't see. You can sense it. You know what Sherlock is. You know, and the Moriarty. So it's about being able to dance in harmony with the with both energies. It's not trying to fight them. It's not trying to suppress them. It's about dancing in harmony with it, making peace with yourself. And making peace with it's all right if someone doesn't like you, he's saying. Because when you let that in and you let it destroy, it can destroy you. People are going to hate you. People are going to dislike you. People are going to mock you. People are going to try and bring you down. We have to be at peace with that. But we have to also be at peace with the fact that we have been there also at some point in our evolution. We have to get out of the victim mindset, the entrapment, not letting that Moriarty energy entrap us. Not letting the Moriarty energy entrap us. Because the most powerful thing you can do as a human is to keep rising. He's showing me now himself walking into different buildings, different places throughout his life, and literally having to bang on the door to be heard, and being mocked and judged and ridiculed. And I'm getting this feeling he was ridiculed for seeing mediums. But he's also showing me the great peace that he got from seeing mediums and diving deeper. He's saying never ever stop diving deeper. Never stop wanting to learn and to explore. Where's this card? What is it was there? You know. The Four of Swords. There's way too many people in the world. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to learn. I've learned all my stuff. No. It never stops. He says even when you go over there, you're constantly learning. Never stop reading the books. You never stop watching your YouTube videos, learning. Never stop wanting to do the courses or life. He said you don't even have to do courses, it's in life. Life is the greatest teacher you'll ever have. He's also drawing our attention back to our physical life now. And he's saying it's sacred. It's sacred. It's important to be here. Many of us go through a stage when it gets too heavy. You're getting too sensitive. You're absorbing too much. It's overwhelming. I don't want to be here anymore. I can't stand this. You're in a workplace and you're working with people that can't see it for what it is. And it becomes overwhelming. It becomes a noise. I can't stand it. I want to die. I can't stand it here. But he's actually saying that here is the gift. Because here is where you get to learn. It's where you get to clear. It's where you get to release. It's where you get to face your insanity. It's where you get to dance with your neuroses. It's where you get to dine with Moriarty. It's where you get to explore your inner Sherlock. It's where you get to go to extreme highs, to extreme lows. It's where you get to dance with the devil. It's where you get to get healed by the angel. So, never run away from your life. Your physical earthly life is important. Even if you're sat there right now and, excuse me, Even if you're sat there, right, I'll just cut that out, I'm joking. I do. Even if you're sat there right now and what was I going to say? Even if you're sat there right now, don't lose faith on your life. Even if you're in the middle of Armageddon right now and life is horrible for you, how can you alchemize that? Because what we resist, we know persists. Everything is a mirror. Every pain, every person, every trauma is a mirror of something you need to heal within ourselves. How did you feel when you'd written Sherlock? How did you feel when you'd written your books and they were out there? Lost. I'm seeing him pacing in the night. It's almost like it's like he couldn't sleep. He is Sherlock, he is Moriarty, and he's pacing. And all of a sudden it's gone and it's finished. There's jealousy around. Now he's showing me some jealousy around him. Show me some jealousy around him. He's saying it was ahead of its time. He was ahead of his time. He's a time traveller. Because he showed it, what was weird was that then. It's almost like I saw him in the future, but I saw him. He was a time traveller. He's a time traveller. He's a time traveller. So if you say it one more time, I'll slap you. He's a time traveller. He's a time traveller. It's almost like, let me sit with this. To some extent, we're all kind of time travellers, really. But he was taken from the future and placed into that era. Right, let me put my bearings with this one. So he's taken from the future and he's placed in... There's a future lifetime I'm seeing where he's a little boy and he dies as a little boy. And he's taken and he lands into the era he was born into, the Victorian era. But is he dead? He's not. He's a time traveller energy. He's come from the future. He finds himself in this Victorian time. And it feels alien to him. It feels alien to him. So just let me sit with this a minute. Was he dead? Did he die? I'm trying to make it. See, I'm doing it now. Moriarty's here. I'm doing it now. I'm trying to simplify it. You can't simplify it. Stop trying to simplify it. Maybe we're doing this on our spiritual path. Maybe you're trying to practice your mediumship skills and you're simplifying it. You're trying to put something that's otherworldly into this physical realm and make sense of. I get in the comments and I'm not judging it, but they want to make sense of everything. And it's like you can't. And sometimes I can't even answer that because it's just you can't make sense of this stuff. This isn't physical stuff we're talking about. And I can understand, because I'm the same, you know, A, B, C, D. Well, this isn't, you're not going to get that with this kind of stuff. It doesn't make sense. Some of this stuff we have to really sit with. I'll be sitting with this for the rest of today. So will you when you watch it when it goes up live. You can't make sense of it. So he's a time traveller. However it happened, he's in the future and he comes back to the past. But I'm seeing in that future incarnation that the father he's got is very Sherlocky. Now some of you, well, Claire, this is a comment that's coming in. So you have to say if he's from the future, well, how come people still watch it? You just don't try to make sense of it. Just go with the flow. Because the truth is also as well, it's all happening at the same time anyway. That's why when people like, you know, when I say I channel Anne Boleyn, well, how can you be channeling Anne Boleyn when she's Meghan? Well, because it's all happening at the same time. All the different versions of us, me, you, they're all here right now. It's all happening right now. All your different lifetimes on planets, in solars, on all of it's happening right now. This is what I mean. It's also about the vast ocean. The vast ocean that he showed us, also represents the vastness of us. The vastness of us. So, there's more to us. Let's see what wants to come with this deck again. I actually like a deck that makes you think, you know. I like a deck that makes you think, because I think as well, and I think he's kind of agreeing with me, it needs all of it. When you're doing this kind of work, you need your physical body, obviously, to sit here and do it, but you also need your mind to be able to... I like a deck that makes me think. Get ready for it. Book. That's just him confirming and saying, that's me, it's him. Book. But there'll be, with him, there'll be a deeper message with this. We've got the rabbit. We've got the lantern. When I saw this rabbit, I thought I heard the words rabbit hole. Not the external rabbit holes, but your internal rabbit hole. How many people are spending, including me, spend time going down rabbit holes? All these different rabbit holes out there. They're not just global ones, but work rabbit holes, family rabbit holes, friendship rabbit holes. We all do it. I do it. Shocking. How many times do you go into your own rabbit holes? Because you'll have rabbit holes too. We've also got the lighten up. Lantern. So, shining the light on our own rabbit holes. That's another way you face your Moriarty. God, he's going on to other encounters. Just a minute. That's how you face your Moriarty. He's now showing me people like serial killers that we watch and we're going, well, this is like detective work, isn't it? So we've got Sherlock and he looks for killers, doesn't he, and stuff like that. And we look at people in the world and we go, God, why are they doing such evil things? Because actually they're having to go down their own internal rabbit holes. What if many people that are going nuts, on all of us at this, going nuts, crazy, having moments, emotional outbursts, all of it. What if we're spending time going down our own rabbit holes in order to clear them? So, you know when I channeled Peter Sutcliffe, it feels like I can bring it into that actually. It's almost like, as a single, right, I've got these rabbit holes I need to go down. Does this make... It will make sense to some people, not, but some people are like, what? You just duck somewhere. I haven't ducked anything. But it's about going down your rabbit holes. We're afraid of our rabbit holes. He said it's why people get up on a morning and they straighten their tie and they make sure their pen's in the pocket and their briefcase is packed. Right, children, they're all brushed teeth, paired, brushed, and it's all of perfection. The wife's there, everything's perfect. And they need it to be perfect. They need it to be just so. And I'm one for routine. I'm a routine babe. I love routine. But that's just surface stuff. We need to go deep. We need to be able to go deeper. So, God, the energy of him is so complex. It's mental. We need to see, so everything he says as well, kind of Arthur Conan Doyle is about, it comes full circle and everything, it's like, whoa, full circle, full circle, full circle, full circle. We need to go down our rabbit holes. I'm touching my head there again. We need to go down our rabbit holes, come down. You're not going to be able to move forward unless you go down your rabbit holes. I'm not talking about the global ones or other people's rabbit holes. I'm talking about your own rabbit holes. So that moment when you're having an anxiety attack is your rabbit hole. Why am I? Feel it. The worst thing you can do when you're having a panic attack is try and stop it. All this thing of just right, okay. When I'm doing, if you find a shamanic healing with me, you may get a bit of feedback like this that says, Claire has journeyed with the epilepsy. Claire has journeyed with your sadness. Claire has journeyed with your grief and spoken to the grief. And you're like, oh, okay, no, she were wrong end. No, it's what we do. So when you get a panic attack, why are you here? Talk to it. It's your rabbit holes. It's not running away from your stuff. It's complex as this. My mind's blowing with this, to be honest. Going down your own internal rabbit holes. Facing your shadow. So again, let's go back to the beginning. The Moriarty energy that was within us. Facing it. Facing it. And he's saying the more you face it, it kind of shrinks. Because take it to another level, Moriarty is only there to show you something. Moriarty is the key holder to the rabbit holes. Your internal rabbit holes. So for example, you've just done a presentation at work and your boss calls you in afterwards and says, you've put all your heart and soul into it and says it was alright but it could have been better, it's not had the impact we wanted it to have. Or you've just got a first date and he's texted you and he says I don't want to see you again. Or you've been cheated on or whatever. Right, so we've gone through this situation. Moriarty comes in. Told you you're hopeless. Told you won't fancy you. He's opening the key. Right? Moriarty comes in, he opens the key. Right, so you're sat there, God, I don't feel good enough. Moriarty opens the key. You go down the rabbit hole, why don't I feel good enough? There's a thing in shamanism where we ask it questions, why don't I feel good enough? Because I feel unloved. Why do I feel unloved? Because nobody loves you. Why does nobody love me? Because nobody can see you. Why does nobody see me? And you can trace it back, and this can take quite some time and personal to each one of you. Do you get me? Do you get me? So, whew, hey. Whew. Okay. Let's move to what time are we on? Where do you want to go next? So, face your Moriarty. Sit with your Moriarty. Don't run from it. X-shaped records. Clearing all. You can't make it up. X-shaped records. Clearing old stories. Releasing past lives. And freedom. Honestly, I can't make this. You cannot make this up. Honestly. Soul star activation. Fulfilling soul contracts. remembering who you are. So that time when you get dumped, that time when you get cheated on, that time when your presentation gets rejected and mocked, etc, etc. It's clearing your Akshayat records. That's all Moriarty is here to do. Moriarty, again, let's take Moriarty to the next level. Moriarty is here to clear your soul contracts with you. And how do you clear your soul contracts? You've got to face them. How do you clear your karma? You've got to face your karma. You've got to face your karma. There's no point sitting there going, why has this happened to me? I must have been a cow in a past life. That's not going to help you. That just adds more onto you. Facing your karma, it's how you get freedom. Moriarty is here to free you from yourself. Once we can get on top of that, there's another teaching in shamanism where, you know, when people say anyone that, you know, you see it all the time, toxicity, it's horrible, where anyone that doesn't resonate with you, show them the door. There's lots of social media posts about it. People that don't treat you right, get them out, get rid of them, you know, leave people. Anyone that disrespects you, walk away from them. You are actually doing one of the worst things you can do there. So my husband beats me up, do I not leave him? Yes, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is this. It's running from your stuff, running from people. We've got to face people. We've got to face our stuff, because that's how you clear your karma. If all of a sudden everybody in your life left you, the whole world became empty, and you're sat here on your own, oh, this is perfect. There's no one to trigger me. There's no one to pick on me. There's no one to trauma me. There's no one to upset. I've got the world to myself. Brilliant. But you know what? Sarah, say it's called Sarah, they're called Sarah. What about that heap of karma you need to learn and clear before you go to your next incarnation? Yeah, but I'm happy now. You are. But your karma's still there. How are you going to clear it on your own? I don't know. You need people around you. You need the triggers. You need the trigger masters around you. You need it for you to grow and to heal and to... I'm actually even sensing Tina Turner now, which I am going to be channeling very soon. I am going to be channeling Tina. Tina Turner is a very unique soul. I'm going to be channeling Tina Turner soon. Because look at Tina Turner, her life. There were so many aspects of her life that was horrific, but how did she get through it? Inner strength. I remember watching an interview just after she died, and it was a similar question. And she gave us, don't quote me on this, but she gave the answer of, because I wanted a choice. I didn't want to be a victim. And she said, everything that happened to me, I needed to grow from. I didn't want to be held back from it. I didn't want to become the weeping wife. I didn't want to become the angry wife. I didn't want to become that. I wanted to become who I am now. And look at Tina Turner. And she went from strength to strength to strength. She didn't deny her traumas. She spoke openly about them. But neither did she wear them on a sleeve and say, look at me, I'm the victim. No. She went from strength to strength. She went from strength to strength. It took her a lifetime, but she did it. So this is why we're here. So Moriarty is here to clear the soul contracts. He's here to clear the karma. He's here to clear the decks. We can't awaken and ascend fully until we're karma free. You can't. How do you clear karma? You've got to go to Earth School. How do you do that? You've got to come across people that are going to trigger your shadows. Some of this is personal stuff, your everyday people, but then there's also people on the global stage that trigger us, me included. I'm going to give you an example of when you know you're onto something, right? I used to get really triggered by, high-profile people doing things to minors, etc. And anything that came out the Jimmy Savile case, we're all over that, followed it, honestly. And then recently we've got another celebrity apart from Schofield that's done stuff, okay? And the other day, what was it my husband was telling me about it? So have you read this in the news? This was before it came out that they named him. And I was sat, I think I was just on my tablet, and he said, have you heard this? There's a BBC presenter, and and as he said it, it came to me, because it's a word, so it comes to you. But it was all my energy field was an egg, and it got to the egg, and it went shoof, and it went off, and I was like, now usually I'd have been like, say I'm on my tablet, I'd have been like, oh, what BB, what's this? Because I actually don't watch Sky News. I have Sky. Do I have Sky News? I think I got on my phone, but I don't have notifications. In fact, I have a lot of notifications turned off. So, and I just went, oh, I don't know about it. And I thought, God, old Claire would have been down that rabbit hole quicker than Jack Flash. Honestly, I'd have been all over it. That'd have been it for the rest of the day. And I was like, not that I don't care, not that I don't think it's a horrible situation. And I've tuned into it a couple of times and we know who the BBC presenter is now, and it's like, just don't come in. It's because I've faced it. I've healed that trauma. So when people on the world stage did that and I got vocal about it, it's because that was pointing to one of my woundings, either in this lifetime or a past life. But that's when you know you've done it. You've like, I've done it. That's when somebody says, God, that dress looks awful on you. And you're like, does it? And you mean it, you know. That's when you know, you think, you know, that you've done it. You've done it. And surely that's a great achievement from not wanting anybody to say that to you. Does that make sense? Because every time somebody says, God, that dress looks awful on you, and you go, oh. Right, okay, we know there's some work to be done there. I mean, that's fine. I've done that, it's fine. But that day when that person goes, God, your hair looks awful, and you go, oh, okay. Sorry you don't like it. But anyway, what time is it? Is it tea time? We moved on. That's when you know you're celestial. That's when you know you're onto something. That's when you know that you've cleared your karma. That's when you know you can put your feet up at that point, have a cup of tea and a knob and get on with the rest of your day, because actually there's no more, that's it, you're done. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we're aiming for. That's where we're aiming for. And in the meantime, we actually need that kind of stuff to keep coming in to get to that point. That's what life's about. That's what growth is about. That's what the inner Moriarty is trying to do. Oh, right. Let's see what else he wants to come in with. 1 hour 12. What else would you like to say? If you can hear planes going over, I live near some red arrows and they keep doing training, okay, and they come down quite low. The world, which is about moving forward. It's about the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. Imagine just being yourself and not giving a damn what people think. I don't mean to be arrogant, and I don't mean that, but to dye your hair pink and not give a shit, to wear polka dots and not give a shit, to wear red lipstick and not give a shit, to have curly hair and not give a shit, to be you, to have multicoloured nails if you want. I've got any nail polish on today, but to have multicoloured, imagine the freedom that gives you. The ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. The ending of a cycle, the beginning of a new one. That's how you do it. It's how you do it. It's how you go forward. And that's learnt by things coming in to trigger us. What's your greatest bit of advice for those that are still alive now? What's your greatest bit of advice? Determination. Determination, we get the chariot card, sorry. Determination, and we get the chariot card. And the Lord, inner strength. So what's your advice for anyone that's alive right now? Golden bit of advice. To not bite. To not bite. to not bite. To open your mind. To open your soul. To explore whilst you're here. He's saying to not stay closed-minded. He's also saying to listen to the wise ones as well. He's saying there's a lot of elder wisdom that we're not getting because we're not listening. You know, we're going on social. My business is based on social media, and it's all influencers. You know, was it a session this week? I was talking about someone that said they felt that they were too old to do Instagram. No, you're not. There's a lot of older people now that are going onto Instagram to do videos. The wise. I'm talking about the wise wisdom. You know, what's Mrs. Hinch doing today? What's that going to learn you? What's that going to teach you? Sorry. What's that going to teach you? Oh, I wonder what Mrs. Hinch is doing today. I wonder what Stacey Solomon's doing today. I'm just going to watch Loose Women. How are you going to learn from that? How are you going to learn and expand? Never stop learning, never stop expanding. He's saying let go of your grudges. Let go of your grudges. He's saying look at each and every one of you as brothers and sisters, because he says ultimately we are. He's saying we are literally all from the same star that went woof, but then there is still your own original blueprint, your own internal blueprint that's for you there. Let go of grudges. Let go of the chatter. And he's saying love, just love, 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 love. What was your biggest mistake? Can you share your biggest mistake? My biggest mistake was I let go. My biggest mistake was I let go. I didn't start listening soon enough. I think maybe he struggled to listen to people, you know. I'm seeing an aspect of him really struggling to listen to people. I think it's around the mediumship stuff and the esoteric stuff. There's a conflict there with him. Maybe with somebody, maybe a mentor, or he's showing me a conflict. What was your greatest success? Show me your greatest success. He's showing me the Sherlock books. Because again, we're coming full circle. How many people, children, teenagers, adults have read those and it's opened up their own investigative energies, their own celestial energies, their own psychic energies. Without even realising, I'm just reading a book, but you're healing. Fellow readers will understand what I mean by that. You can get so much healing by just reading a novel. It doesn't have to be a work of non-fiction, a biography or a textbook. It can just be a novel. There can be a paragraph in a book that changes your life. There can be a character in a book that changes your life. There can be a chapter, a page, a book that changes your life. What's the one thing that you wish you could do differently? He's saying he wish he'd written, God my words, he wishes he'd written more. He's saying he wishes he'd taken Sherlock further. I feel as if he fell out with him. He fell out with Sherlock. Was this him falling out with himself? He fell out with himself. Consequently, he fell out with Sherlock. And he let the Moriarty thing come in. But he wishes he took it further. But it was also a warning. He's saying there's codes in books. Because he's showing me the written word, the line of words. But under the line of words, there's codes. Now, is this something he put in his books? There's codes. I was once reading a book. It's not to do with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I was reading a book once, and I was reading a series. And I started to feel really edgy in this book. It was weird. I was really into it. I just Googled the author. Because there's something, I'm just feeling really weird. And then I Googled the author. And I found out the author, when he was writing some of these books, went off to this far-flung country, and apparently a curse was put on him. And I thought, maybe that's what I'm picking up. Anyway, I use a Kindle, I use books on Kindle, and my Kindle went weird. It went weird, and it just blacked out my Kindle. And it won't work properly until I deleted the books. And when I deleted the books, it was fine. So yeah, there's codes in words. You see it like, let's see if I do this book. So she lands on Frankenstein. So you've got the words, but yeah, you've got the words, but there's codes between the words. There's codes between the words. There's codes between the words. And yes, shall we round up now? There's codes between the words. And take this into your life now. What are your successes? What are your failures? What could you have done different? What do you wish you'd done differently? How could you turn it around? And then going forward, how can you turn it around? Thank you for watching. Love to all. And I will see you in the next one. See you later. Oh, playlists, channeling. There's all kinds of people that I've channeled.